Over the last 4 episodes we've seen album art working in harmony with the music. This time same rules, just pushed to the extreme. We're talking designs that break every pattern and find beauty in the unexpected. Today's episode, Bráulio Amado bringing DIY zine chaos to Róisín Murphy and reimagining Mac Miller's final release with collages and a pop-up gatefold. Martin Falck creating fever dream visuals for The Knife and turning an office worker into a latex angel for Fever Ray. And in the spotlight, Charli XCX defiantly ugly lime green square that took over 2024. Welcome to the Graphic Rebels. First up, Bráulio Amado. We've got this Portuguese punk kid in Lisbon at the Xerox machine making these insane zines for hardcore bands. Photocopying until his fingers are black with toner. That's where this starts. Fast forward, the same kid ends up at Pentagram in New York City, where you have to follow every sacred design rule. How to kern properly, use grids and verify harmony using algebra. Then he jumps to Bloomberg Businessweek as art director, and there he breaks every single rule. Eventually he's starting his own studio. The name is Bad Studio, which means Bráulio Amado Design. Now he's in Brooklyn and suddenly everyone wants that Amado chaos. Frank Ocean, Beck, Andrea 3000, Robin. Plus he's running this wild space called 6th Street Haunted House in the East Village. It's a creative hub where people come to make weird art together. So let me show you some of Amado's work in action. First up, Róisín Machine by Róisín Murphy, released in 2020. Murphy's been doing art pop, trip hop, all these experiments. But now she wants the dance floor back. She calls up DJ Parrot, and here is the thing. The album's been brewing for nearly a decade. Not constantly, she put out Hairless Toys in 2015 and Take Her Up to Monte in 2016. But these club tracks kept building up in the background. Finally, they all come together as this one continuous dance journey where every track flows into the next. And it becomes her highest charting album in Ireland and the UK. Murphy gives Amado the brief. Subversive, not your typical disco queen. She sends him this whole collage of references. Suzy Sue, post-punk women, Italian erotic photography and vintage S&M stuff. So Amado takes this red backdrop, drops in an Adrian Sampson photo of Murphy and sets the title in these chunky geometric letters, totally channeling retro disco and early rave graphics. For the limited vinyl, Amado goes full DIY and makes an actual zine, all collaged, photocopied and super grainy. Plus, there is this photobook Amado designed that documents Murphy's costumed club world in all this signature surreal detail. It's basically your ticket to some parallel nightlife universe by Murphy. Up next, Hit Parade, released in 2023. Murphy teams up with DJ Cozy this time. She's going even more experimental. Critics are losing their minds, calling it her best work ever. It hits top 5 in the UK. The cover starts normal enough. Conor Egan photographs Murphy in this wild multicolored bodysuit with bold stripes. And then they bring in Beth Ray, a Canadian artist who works with AI. And she takes Murphy's face and just warps it, using artificial intelligence to make her simultaneously plastic and human. Ray talks about creating images with this sensorial feeling, like you want to reach out and touch them. Amado wraps this AI distortion in his chaotic typography, then slaps the huge sticker on the vinyl edition. It's packed with all these bold-type tricks, making the whole package even louder and more layered. The booklet extends the effect. Every page shows another uncanny shift in Murphy, half human and half digital. Just as the music itself shifts between warm soul and electronics textures. And now Ballonerism, the final release by Mac Miller. He recorded this in 2014, same time as Faces, but they shelved it. Comes out in 2025, exactly 5 years after Circles. And it's Mac at his most psychedelic. Just influenced, introspective, dealing with mortality and addiction. The cover is a painting by Delaware artist Alim Smith, who calls his style Afro-surrealism. Portraits stretch and distort into something playful and strange. Smith has painted everything from black historical icons to internet memes, always with this bright distorted edge. Miller first discovered Smith's work on Instagram and asked him for a portrait. His own head blown up like a carnival balloon floating against this huge blue sky. Before his death, Max saw the finished piece online and left a comment: "Need this." That painting became the cover. And for the deluxe package, Amado takes Smith's painting and adds iridescent foil, so it shimmers in the light. And then fills the package with collaged fragments. Max's face split into pieces, eyes and mouth rearranged. The music studio scenes are mixed with basketball courts photos. And the pop-up gatefold explodes into a 3D collage. Portraits, instruments, skies, all cut out and stacked so it feels like you are stepping into his world. Playful and a little haunting. Like joy and fragility sitting right there together. And now Martin Falck. This Stockholm designer goes to Amsterdam's Rietveld Academy. He graduates in 2011 with his BFA in Fine Arts and Graphic Design. And he comes out with this philosophy he calls norm-critical form, which means break every Stone Age design rule to find completely new visual languages. But he's not just making confrontational designs. He's directing music videos, he's writing his first TV series for Swedish national television, and when he works with musicians, he builds entire worlds. As he puts it, your new world, and this record will be your national anthem. His aggressive aesthetic catches the attention of Swedish electronic acts immediately. Planning to Rock, Roixop. He's also designing the entire universe for Eric Krep's queer pop project Private. But now shaking the Habitual by the knife. This is their final studio album, a double CD beast of political electronic music. The duo's been reading feminist and queer theory, especially Michel Foucault. They literally steal the album title from him. The album wins the Nordic Music Prize in 2014. They've got Shannon Funches and Emily Royston collaborating on Stay Out Here. It's massive. So Falck designs the cover to be almost physically irritating. He makes everything in migraine pink and cyan, colors that make your eyes hurt, especially in the digital RGB version. He overprints this warped grid and throws in the tinted stock photo of a businessman. You know, those early 2010 stock-like photos. Happy businessman, success, money. So generic they become creepy. The front is relatively minimal, but open it up and you get two fold-out posters inside. It's a comic by Liv Stromquist called End Extreme Wealth. It depicts the 1% as culturally impoverished vermin. She's taking the right-wing discourse against the poor and flipping it on the rich. Stromquist is a Swedish cartoonist known for feminist left-wing satirical comics, and they commissioned her specifically for this. Everything is printed in that same eye-burning palette. Someone online called it agitprop pop packaging, and right, the cover itself works like a protest placard. Jump to 2023. Fever Ray's third album, Radical Romantics. Karen Dreas exploring love as a verb, as an action. She's inspired by Bell Hook's book All About Love. Dreas examining what she calls the myth of love, the radical acceptance you need to feel safe and loved. For the visuals, Dreyer collaborates with Falck and photographer Nina Andersson to create what they call the office angel. Dreyer wears a business suit and this latex headpiece that warps her face into something uncanny. Like tenderness and body horror meshed together. It's showing how love transforms you from the inside out. And I came across this separate publication tied to the album, The Year of the Radical Romantics, designed with Falck. It expands the world beyond the cover. The office angel mutates across its pages, joined by a whole supporting cast. There is the white-suited Casanova version of Fever Ray, Romance the wannabe womanizer, Maine the clock watcher, Snoozes with her Vichy aura, and the Mona Lisa swinging an axe. Falck and Dreyer call it a true labor of love. Love as transformation and mutation. Love as something that might destroy you just to put you back together again. Time for our spotlight. We land on what might be the ultimate visual rebel of 2024. A lime green cover that managed to break the internet. Brat by Charli XCX. Here is what it is. Lime Slime Pantone 3570C plus a stretched low-res slice of Arial narrow font. Pop's most talk about anti-design. So creative director Imogen Strauss and designer Brand David Freeney examine around 500 different shades of green. They test dozens of Swiss typefaces. This takes 5 months. And they land on a color Charli herself calls unfriendly and uncool, and a font that's too boring to be precious. Billboard's Christine Robinson suggested Charli was inspired by 90s neon ray flyers and the title credits from the 2007 comedy Smiley Face. And if you look at those credits, they've got the same raw and perfect typography you see in Brat's minimalism. So why does the ugliness matter? First, those deliberate artifacts. The fuzzy letters. They look like something from stretched avatars, bootleg banners, the kind of visual glitches millennials remember from old forums. For Gen Z, it just reads as raw and lo-fi, but either way it looks in perfectly with music built from club grid and hyperpop polish. Second, mimetic power. They launched this Brat generator so fans can add their own text to the green square. The shade gets so viral that it gets its own name, Brat Green. And it's everywhere. Brooklyn billboards, the London Eye turns green. And get this, in Greenpoint there is a Brat wall that becomes this living billboard getting repainted with new messages through the whole promo cycle. The album cover literally becomes a street installation that keeps evolving. Third, the era stamp. For a while Charli restyled her whole catalog on streaming with the Brat look. Flat colors, no gloss, almost like anti-pop propaganda. But now the originals are back, so that radical makeover only lives in the Brat era now. And this wasn't some prank. Brat lands right in this longer wave of anti-design in music. You've got Kanye's Jesus in that bare plastic case with no text, Death Grip's No Love Deep Web with its infamous cover, and PC Music's whole bet on purpose aesthetic. And it worked. Brat even became Collins Dictionary's 2024 Word of the Year. And here is the paradox of provocative design we've seen today. The more effortless and chaotic it looks, the more skill it actually takes. Breaking rules convincingly means you have to master them first. What looks like spontaneous rebellion is the result of extensive experimentation. Months of testing colors, countless iterations, deep knowledge of exactly which conventions to break and why. True visual anarchy takes the discipline of a master. Next time, when the world gets heavy enough, it shows up on album covers. From post-9/11 America to climate anxiety to police brutality, some moments spill over into everything, even the album art. See you there!